a deadly viral strain that threatened to wipe out populations, and a country rallying to save the life of a little girl. It's not something out of a Hollywood movie. That was the highlights of the year in health in 2009. It began sometime in May this year. Word of a deadly new flu that emanated from Mexico that was highly contagious. If it sounds like a line out of Stephen King's epic doomsday novel, The Stand, it's not. 2009 was the year when the world was introduced to the H1N1 virus, better known as the swine flu. The new viral strain had global scientists scrambling to find a cure, while governments across the globe prepared for its devastating effects. People wearing masks and being tested and quarantined after traveling to North and Central America became the norm. Schools and some workplaces locally were shut down as the virus spread. Hospitals were overflowing with patients in isolated wards. The Tamiflu and vaccine were late in coming and short in supply. The Health Ministry embarked in an aggressive campaign to sensitize the public.
While we will always maintain there is no cause for alarm or hysteria, there is cause for concern.
In the end, they were accused of covering up the swine flu deaths, but also praised for doing a commendable job in battling the disease that still threatens the world's population. That was reminiscent of the dengue outbreak last year that the health minister had denied. In fact, while the country was panicking over the swine flu, many complained that the dengue epidemic was still very much alive. By August this year, the Health Ministry revealed that 129 suspected dengue cases were recorded, and in September, 175.
The total suspected dengue cases to date has in fact reached 1,577. At this time last year, which was a cycle peak year for dengue, may I remind you, the total suspected cases were considerably higher, reaching 2,311.
Of course, diseases were not the only thing that drew spotlight on the health sector this year. Who could forget when the medical board collapsed amid infighting over government's move to license Cuban doctors to fill vacancies in hospitals? Or when UNC Kearney East MP Dr. Tim Gopi-Singh raised the issue of alleged discrimination at the Port of Spain hospitals, which he said was driving doctors out.
There has been an issue of ethnic cleansing at Port of Spain Hospital as far as the doctors are concerned. I understand that most of the East Indian doctors have had to leave Port of Spain Hospital.
Evidence or no evidence, that kind of talk in a parliament like this does us no good. I am hoping, Mr. Speaker, that my good friend from Kearney will understand. I hope that my good friend from Kearney will understand it might have been better if he just withdraws this statement and let us go on.
That comment caused a national furor and a controversial debate over alleged racism. Dr. Gopi-Singh got hauled before the Privileges Committee of Parliament for it, but he has since insisted that he was right, and he has now called on the Equal Opportunities Commission to probe this claim. Meanwhile, this was the year that smokers will never forget, as government passed its controversial tobacco controls legislation that criminalizes many aspects of smoking, to much public and political outrage.
Once this law is implemented, the studies show that within 1 year of its implementation, you would have a measurable reduction in heart attacks between 6% and 47%.
We are not happy about the severity of the penalties for the population. And that is one area you need to seriously consider. Because we can't support sending somebody to jail for a year because they couldn't help themselves to kick a nicotinic effect.
Government also implemented the long-awaited breathalyzer laws to curb drunk driving.
And you have the breathalyzer, you can't drink you. Just Christmas Eve, it's coming in, it's all meant to be. And then he says, you know what the jury said after the tobacco bill first thing? He's coming after those people making sweets. Now what are we about?
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar. So these are the crimes. The crimes are now tobacco. It crimes are now if you have 2 drinks or more. The crimes are sugar. And all of those crimes we're talking about, the serious ones that people are concerned about and so on, we're not really getting
for the one invention for which Trinidad and Tobago should be famous, and I'm wondering what's going to happen to DESPA's sponsorship.
But there's one happy memory for the year past in health: the way the national community rallied together and raised the $1.3 million in funds needed to save the life of little Hannah Lender, the 9-year-old girl from Sealots who needs a liver transplant. Thanks to you, the public, she has a chance at life.